The Overwatch 2 supporter streamer is back. So I think it was last year when it might have been last year with the Brig skin. So this skin, the Echo skin right here, Bird of Paradise. Overwatch 2 content creators are some of the best players in our community. Well, I mean, listen, you watch me play. Whether showing off their awesome skills, creating awesome custom games, or building experiences with their fans, they bring Overwatch 2 to thousands of viewers worldwide on Twitch. This is why we're celebrating our content creators through the return of Twitch supporter streamer for Overwatch 2. From November 30th through December 10th, support your favorite eligible streamers. We're on that list. When you subscribe or give subscriptions on their channel, and you will receive the epic Bird of Paradise Echo skin that will unlock in-game. So it's live now and goes all the way till December 10th at 11:59 PST. How to participate? Log into your Twitch account. That's the first step. All right? Visit one of the eligible participating Twitch channels. We're on that list. While the channel is live streaming Overwatch, when I'm live, subscribe or gift a cumulative of 2 subscriptions of any tier to earn the reward. Subscriptions gifted anonymously will not count toward the campaign. Please note that the campaign will begin on November 30th at 11 a.m. PST. Any subs or gifted subs purchased before that start time will not be counted towards the campaign. And then there's the 2 gifted anonymous subs, of course. Thank you for the 2 gifted anonymous. Only subscriptions or gifted subscriptions purchased while the channel is live streaming Overwatch 2 with the category set to Overwatch 2 will count towards the campaign. So let's say I'm just somehow not in the Overwatch 2 section. It will not count during that. Did you get it, meme? You did. This happened last time with the anonymous gifted. Like, it's just kind of there in case. Reward for support and the reward for participating in the supporter streamer event is the epic Bird of Paradise Echo skin. Once you get the 2 gifted subs. And as far as I know, Prime subs do not count for that. And then you can see this list here. You just got all these lists of streamers. Dude, I don't know. Listen, I'm on the list. That's all of this stuff. That's all I know. The skin is this one. This is the skin. Is that, am I correct? This is the skin that you would get with the support a streamer with the 2 gifted. If it says equip, you have it. If you don't, then you would be able to get that through that unlock, okay? Is it subscribed as well or just 2 gifted? So if you sub with a tier 1 and then gift the sub, that would count. If you use a Prime sub, it will not count. Okay, chat, apparently there's a director's blog for balance preview. So you want me to read that for Season 8? We have a director's take balance preview for Season 8. This is one of the 2 remaining director's take blogs for 2023. We'll release another one in 2 weeks and take the last part of the year off for the holiday season before we pick back up again in the new year. Also, for anybody watching this on YouTube right now, if you're hearing the that sound a couple times, they just announced the supporter streamer for the Echo skin, so that you're hearing the subs from that on that one. So if you hear that, that's why. It might pop up a little bit more in this video than you normally see. So Doggy Tags, thanks for the feature process. Thank you, appreciate it. I'll be writing this one in a sort of turkey-induced fever dream, and the next one just after we launch Season 8. This is when we'll release our newest hero, Mauga, along with quite a few balance changes for the game. We'll take a look at those changes and touch on a few other topics as well. First paragraph here. We're making a general change. We're making a general change to the amount of ult charge retained when swapping heroes, reducing it from 25% to 15%. Oh, wow. That's interesting. We do like that this mechanic removes friction when swapping heroes, and think that it still should be at 15%. That's an interesting change because, I mean, I get why they're doing it, but I'm surprised I didn't even go down by 5% just to see. You know what I mean? Mikado, thank you for the 2 gifted. Thank you. And Pigeon, thanks for the gifted sub. Thank you. However, Caps, can you make a command for supporter streamer too, so I can put in the title and make it a lot easier? However, there is a perception that it's almost always an advantage to counter swap upon dying, and we're lowering this value to see if it has an effect on swap rates. Okay, I'll have a quick discussion about this, and it might be a hot take, it might not be. Okay? And Jack, thank you for the tier 1. Thank you. All right? Just to give you an idea, here's my take on this. When I counter swap, I don't care about the L charge at that point. Doesn't mean that everybody does that, but when I switch off a hero to counter swap or go up against a hero, the L charge does not have anything to do with that for me. It's just a better pick long term or a better pick like overall for the team fight. So like if they have this hero and I'm good, this hero's 10 times better than the other hero, the L charge is irrelevant to me at that point. It's a bonus, don't get me wrong, right? Like the L charge is a bonus, so like it will affect that, but most of the time when people counter swap, they're not doing it because of the L charge, right? If it's a much better swap for the rest of the game at 80%, I will make that swap sometimes because it's just a better pick. I'm not worried about recuperating that L charge because I'm just going to be shooting at them anyway and I'll probably build it anyway. We're also looking at making additional changes to some core mechanics in the game for Season 9 that will line up with the release of the competitive overhaul. Wait, what? What are those? Core mechanics? We're not quite ready to talk about what those are, but I thought I'd tease them a bit because, well, I'm a tease. Chat, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm excited for Season 8, but they are really stacking Season 9 right now, too. Season 9 is going to have core mechanic changes to the game, right? And it's going to have a completely new comp system. Like, in my opinion, like, Season 8 is going to be great because obviously we're going to have a new hero. But Season 9 is going to be very, very interesting. Like, holy crap. Like, Season 8 and Season 9 are going to be, like, which is cool. I always think that my take on this, the odd seasons, like Season 9, right? Like Season 7, etc. Those seasons are usually kind of more of the chill seasons, right? Because there isn't a new hero. So when they start to make these in-between seasons even more important than they would be before, that's exciting to me because that's like, wait a second, rather than being like, okay, this is like, oh, you know, you don't have a new hero, you might have a new map season. Now they're introducing like major things, like a comp thing, new core mechanics. We don't know what they are. That's good. Like, I like that those seasons are now becoming more like, okay, these seasons are also going to be important. So Season 8's a new hero, and Season 9 has a huge comp overhaul, which, if you haven't heard about that, is going to be hopefully pretty sweet. At least at the very minimum, going to be like a good change to what they're doing and a better blueprint. And now we have core changes. All right, anyway, sorry. I want to talk about that for a little bit. Let's look at the changes coming to some of our season heroes for Season 8, starting with some of the larger changes coming to our tanks. We released a reworked Roadhog late in Season 7. Roadhog quickly became one of our top performing tanks with a win rate somewhere around 54%. Now, just to kind of summarize on this one a little bit, chat, 54% win rate is unmirrored, is what they go off of. They're not saying it's a 54. It wouldn't make any sense if it was a 54% win rate against Hog. But all of these win rates are generally based off of unmirrored, right? Because if you're going Roadhog versus Roadhog, it's 50%. So that's a pretty good win rate. That's pretty high. There's been a lot of feedback around this kit, but we're going to hold off from making any changes at the start of Season 8, which is okay. I think that's still okay to wait. Malga has a lot of answers to Roadhog, and we like to see where the meta settles a bit before aiming at the mid-season patch for any balance adjustments, which makes sense. There are times when Doomfist players use his ultimate purely as an escape. Truthfully, they use it as an escape more often than not. It's a little disappointing to activate Meteor Strike and intentionally land on a health pack rather than the enemy players. Oh no, I'll have 50 HP and land on the players. I'll get rolled 95% of the time, but it's an ultimate. Starting in Season 8, Doomfist will now generate 75 health per second while in the air? What? That's gonna be good. Yo, that Doom ult's significantly better now. Because, like, before, if you had low HP, you had to get out, right? Before, if you had low HP, you needed to get out. But now? Yo, that's sick. We're slightly increasing the cost of ult in order to compensate for the buff. Now, I do want to point out, I like that they do this now, because they didn't do that with Junker Queen when they buffed Junker Queen. Remember when Junker Queen was getting ultimate every 2 seconds? So I'm glad they make that. I'm glad they changed that a little bit. But yeah, that's good for Doom. We'll see how it feels to play against. That's going to be the thing, okay? We're going to see how that plays after, all right? We'll see how long it takes to get ult too. We don't know what the percentage is, so we have to see. Tanks are supposed to take and create space, and when Ramatra is in his base form, he can be a little too easy to ignore. So we're going to shift 100 of his health to armor, as well as slightly increase the size and damage of his projectiles to see if it helps. Honestly? And thank you for all the love, chat. Seriously, I appreciate it. You know what I like about that? I love the description of that. Yeah, we're just going to change that and see if it helps. I love that. I just love like that. Like there was no like, they didn't go into some like, oh, we're doing this and this. Like, I just want to see if it helps. Listen, we'll see. Here's my take on this is like, this will make Ramatra better. And believe it or not, chat, 100 armor in Overwatch is a lot. Anytime Ryan gets 25 armor, Ryan becomes OP. 25 armor added on to the current armor. So to give you an idea, armor is good for tanks. Armor is a lot better than it appears on paper. Well, there's legitimate stats behind it, but armor is really strong. So 100 armor added to the base is going to make Ramatra much more playable and probably much more viable. Meta, couldn't tell you, but in most ranks, there isn't really much of a meta. It's just, you play whatever you want for the most part. So this is a good shift to people who like playing Ramatra. Winston isn't the best matchup for other tanks. This is a part of his kit, but the disadvantage feels too extreme, and we like to alleviate it a bit. In Season 8, Winston's Tesla Cannon will now ignore armor's damage reduction. You could almost say that they made the Ramatra change and said, well then, what will that do for Winston? So they gave Winston, this is a good change. So this change right here is good against certain comps. Like, give you an idea. This makes Winston a little bit better against Honor Brig, because Brig is a little bit more killable now, right? So, once again, armor is something that you don't realize how strong it is sometimes, including myself. Like, I'll go after an armored target, I don't realize that. So this is going to make Winston a lot better against armored targets. This will help. So this will definitely help Winston. All right? In my opinion. Moving on to a few changes to our DPS heroes. Let's start with Sombra. She's had a lot of moving parts recently, and we feel like she's in a much better spot. Her win rate hovers between 45 to 48% dependent upon rank. However, her ultimate still isn't as satisfying as it could be, which honestly, chat, as a tank, I go, yeah, you're right. We should keep it that way. But truthfully, EMP is not that good right now. And I understand this change. With the win rate between, okay, so we're going to raise the ability lockout time of her EMP by 1.5 to 3 seconds and reduce the amount of damage it does from 30 to 25% of maximum health. So let me point something out here, chat. Just so I want to point this out to you. This does not mean the right click will hack you for 3 seconds. This means the EMP will. Okay? Okay? This does not change the right click hack. This changes the EMP hack. So when you're hacked on EMP, it's 3 seconds now. So this makes EMP a more viable ultimate, which I think is okay. And keep in mind, I'm a tank. I'm going to be the one probably getting solo EMP'd. Right? It's going to be me. I'm a tank. But I understand why. Like, I know why they're doing that. Will I sit there and probably talk about the 3 seconds when I'm hacked for 3 seconds? Yep. But I understand why. You know what I mean? So, and also they're reducing the damage a little bit, so you're taking a little bit less damage during the EMP, so they're compensating there. This brings her ultimate more in line with her hero fantasy and is much sharper in its effect. So it'll be a little bit better. To give you an idea, EMP usually does 30% damage to you right now when you get EMP'd. Now it's 25% damage. So I'm okay with it. Like I said, as a tank, I'm not loving it, but I'm okay with it. I understand why. Do I like the Winston change? Yeah. Soldier 76 has enjoyed a lot of success in Season 7. He's a really well-rounded DPS, and the self-sustain from his heal can make him really difficult to heal with while he's in its radius. Rather than reducing the effectiveness of the heal, we'd rather open up the larger windows of opportunity by increasing the cooldown from 15 to 18 seconds. I'm going to tell you why I'm happy about this. And let me explain something. And this is why, like, you can tell that their balance philosophy in Overwatch has changed so much. Before, Soldier 76 nerfs, where they would nerf the damage, Soldier 76 would become even more unplayable. Soldier 76 has become more playable, and rather than nerf the damage and just nerf Helix Rocket and be like, okay, we'll go back to doing 5 damage across the map, and that's that, right? You're just changing the ability to have your healing station out more. There you go. You know? So, why not? Does anybody remember how much damage his Tracer Pulse Bomb pistols do? I wouldn't blame you if you don't. We've changed them a lot. If you guess 5.5 damage per second or shot, you'd be right. But not for long, because we're changing them again back to 6. Now let's talk about that very quickly for a second. It used to be at 6, but then if anybody played Overwatch 2 at the beginning, there was a tracer bug Okay? And that tracer bug was there was no fall-off damage at a certain range, so they had to nerf tracer while they adjusted the bug, right? So basically you were a sniper as tracer. So that's what happened. So now it's back to 6, which is more there. The previous change to 5.5, oh, look, I should have read this. The previous change to 5.5 was made to offset a bug with their fall off and spread. Now that these bugs are fixed, we're moving them back to their previous value. So Tracer will be pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's a good change for Tracer. It's a good buff. Let's look at some of our support changes. Brigitte was the best performance support hero since the last patch, and we're seeing your feedback that she's becoming a must pick. Yep. Brig keeps the other support unkillable and is really strong. We're going to revert the damage on Whip Shot to try to bring her back in line. We're also looking at the damage potential of BAP, and we'll be lowering his primary fire ammo from 45 to 36. A bit of a take on this, chat. I don't think that the Whip Shot damage was what made Brig that good. But I do have a counterpoint to this. The Winston buff might make Brig a little bit less playable in certain comps because you ignore the armor now. So Brig takes a little bit more damage. You get what I'm saying? So like there's like that. I think the reason why they're not doing anything yet there is to see how Winston plays against Brig. The BAP one just reduces the damage potential, but the damage output's still going to be high. When you have to reload more, you're going to reduce how much damage you're going to do overall. But I still think it will be, you know, like okay. Like we'll see. I'd like to touch on one of the items mentioned in the last director's take. Specifically, the leave rate in quick play matches. Based on a recently implemented set of penalties for leaving too many matches, that rate has gone down considerably. There has been a bit of talk around that, specifically that some people view that mode as something that they would like the freedom to leave without worrying about those penalties. Different people play quick play for different reasons. Like when I play quick play, I play to get hacked by the other Sombra because there's always a Sombra because when someone loads into quick play, they go, is there a tank? If so, I'm going Sombra. HXN, thanks for the free just prime sub. And Dragon, thanks for the 3 months of the tier 1. Thank you. Appreciate it. Some people see it as their try-hard version of the game. Some view it as a way to experiment with heroes. And others use it as their casual, just-for-fun version of the game. It's really difficult to have this part of the game be all things for all people. In the past, we've talked internally about whether we need a third main queue in the game in order to have different areas to serve people of different levels of seriousness. But don't think that players would voluntarily move into the appropriate queue for their particular play. In regards to their playstyle. In regard to penalties for leaving quick play matches, the reason behind this is that frequent leavers do have an effect on the other people in the match, degrading its quality. There are some players that literally leave over 90% of their matches, and we can no longer stick to a black and white policy because of this. The policy is still very lenient, probably too lenient, where players need to leave almost a quarter of their most recent matches to trigger a light penalty. We'll continue to look at this and tweak these policies in an attempt to promote better match quality without harsher restrictions of rank play. That's it for this week. Thanks for reading, and we'll see you in game. Chat, you know what I see here, and maybe I'm wrong? They bring up that they've talked about a third main queue. I wonder if they're trying to get a bit of feedback on that too. It sounds to me like they're thinking of the idea of ways to improve this issue that they're running into, where some people play it, you know, play quick plays. People play quick play like comp. Other people have something to do. They're playing it more casually for fun, and some people are playing it to try something. Right? You have 3 different things happening. It sounds like they're starting to consider that, right? But now they want to see if they can get any feedback on that and if it's worth adding a third mode. So, like, I think that may happen. I think that may happen, but we have to see. You said they're gonna have three different versions: comp, quick play, and lever. Yeah, you just join lever and you leave. That's it. You're like, hey, what's going on, everybody? I left 90% of the games. I'm here to just leave this game. I'll see you in a bit. Like, yeah, they're gonna have 3 different game modes. It's just competitive, quick play, and lever. You said ranked, unranked, and troll? Yeah, they got that one too. All right, yeah. Anyway, I like this blog post. I like some of the changes we've seen. Hope you all enjoyed this. For people who like are watching this video to this point still on the second channel, sub to the second channel. We're gonna do we do a lot of these, like talking about the game. I love talking about Overwatch. I try my best to put up as much as I can on there. I probably should do it more. Let me know what you think. Appreciate y'all.